everyone, it's 22nd of October, down the allotment. I thought I'd just do a quick video before I go because I'm not going to be back down here for a little while, I don't think now. Basically, the last 2 weeks I've not been on YouTube really, to be honest. I've just been trying to get on with things and sort of tying loose ends up and that. So been down, had a bit of clearing and stuff. So luckily, for the first time in 8 years I've been on this side, I've actually had some compost on it. It's only the green council stuff, it's full of sweets and stuff, but I thought, well, saves me lugging a load of stuff over, so I've had quite a bit of it. I just hope there's no weed killers in it, but we'll find out next year, won't we? But I thought I'm willing to take that risk and break my back, because it is absolutely sodden on here, as you'll see in a minute on my plot. So I'll have a quick look round, see where we're up to. I've had a bit of a harvest today. I've covered up now, but I'll see if you can see some of it anyway. Right, it's all under wheelbarrow, but I've got some the celery, not great, but I've taken it because it's just going to be used cooking. I've got a lot of, I just pulled my dwarf bean plants up, put them in the tray. I thought I'll harvest them when I go home. I've got one sunflower, I'm just going to take a few seeds out of it for next year because it's starting to go mouldy. Taking all my cane, I'm going to take them all home and clean them up and probably dip the ends in some sort of preservative and let them sort of last a bit longer than usual. So we'll go on to the plot. As you can see, it's an absolute slop pile, but work needed doing because I don't want to be doing it in February like I usually do. So I thought if I can get on top of it this side of Christmas, I can go home and I don't really have to do much. I've got some compost to bring up, spent compost, but that's not essential, you know, until I'm really putting stuff in, to be honest. So Spud Bed had a right good sort of 4-inch layer of green, you know, compost on it. So it's pretty twiggy. But I thought, well, I'll shove it up. I didn't dig it over or anything, I've just put a big layer on. Probably about 40 odd barrelfuls on that bed, to be honest. So, but they didn't mind me helping myself. They had 15 tonne of it delivered, so she thought no one was going to clear it. So I've had a fair old bit of it anyway. So have a look around this way. Fruit cage. I didn't bother weeding it or anything. I just put a big layer on that as well. I'll be coming back to prune these at some point. We're going to give a good pruning this year, try and shrink the trees down a bit and get rid of the side branches. There's a couple, I don't know if you can see over there, that hang over and never get fruit on next year, just going to touch the ground. Grapevines, I'll leave them be for now. I'll probably just lop them off at the bottom next year and get rid of them, because I don't do anything with them. I've been having a few, but the sour is out and full of seeds. Strawberry bed, basically chopped all the old strawberries off, and then that's had a good like 4 or 5 inch of their stuff, and then also probably an inch or so of my own that was in the compost bin here. It's probably full of weed seeds and that, but I thought, well, build it up, give it about a month to settle, and then hopefully my runners will be ready. I can bring them down and plant them in and see if they do all right over the winter and get some roots down for spring next year. The bean plants, there was a few on them, not so many, so I didn't bother harvesting because I haven't got any room in freezer. So all I did with that, I pulled the canes out and all the weeds and the bean plants, I just let them collapse in the bed, put a layer of cardboard on and a layer of the compost. Same with that, I just sort of trimmed the tops of the strawberries off, cardboard, compost. Sunflower bed over there, exactly the same, cardboard, compost. Where the sweet peas were, same again, just had a bit of a weed on this, and then I don't know if you can see, it's just cardboard, under that's the old soil. Cardboard, and that's my own compost. A few years old that now, it's quite fine, but it probably compacts a little bit, but I've just put my sunflower stalks at the back there just to pin that bit of cardboard up, so woodlice and slug will probably end up occupying that. All my asparagus tops I've cut off a little bit early, they weren't died down properly, but I thought, well, I'll lop them off, and if they don't come back next year then it's not going to be asparagus bed anymore. And all the tops, you can't really make out, I've thrown them all over the path. Try and give me something to walk on, because as you can see, it's sort of welly, you know, lose your welly boot sort of thing. We'll go on down here. That bed was cleared and it's pretty much just had one wheelbarrow lightly sprinkled over the top of that. So I need to cover it up, but that's not getting done today. So I'm not bothered, it was just to put a little thin layer on and go from there with that. I had a tidy up in these, they're right good weeding. I've had probably, you know, a good full half day of just picking weeds out by hand, which is, you know me, I can't stand weeding, it's boring as anything, but it's got to be done. A few slug pellets in there, because you can see there's a few slug holes. But that hasn't had any compost on it, that's just been sort of hand weeded, hoed. Just tidied up to get rid of some yellow foliage. To try and reduce the slug numbers if possible, and hopefully get some hearts. They'll only be small hearts, but You know, I can't remember how many I've got in there now, probably about 20 or something like that. And then the kale, I've left it in. It seems a bit pointless, you know, in the whole bed, but that's the same thing. It's been basically a light layer of the compost sprinkled on top of that. The red cabbage, that's kind of been propped up. It's still alive. Some of it's struggling a bit. You know, there was the odd one that's just sort of come out of the roots and rotted off. That's had a good weeding and a layer of compost put on it. It's probably had a good inch on it, that bed. And the broccoli, I've left it in because I probably got about a good couple of pound of side shoots off them the other day. So I thought, you know what, sod it, I'll leave them in. And if I get any more, and so be it. If not, you know, when I come down, say probably, you know, just before Christmas, I'll rip them out, and then I'll probably put a cover, you know, halfway along this bed here. A lot of the weeding, you know, the sods and stuff, are thrown in this path here just to try and bulk it up a bit, but this won't dry out now till next year. Not a chance. So it's the same thing every year for me. Swede, I took some Swede home the other day. Not great, but we went down and went out. We had one for tea yesterday, so there's a few left to pick up. January King, pretty small. That one's really struggling, but leave them in. Same again. It's had a weed and a layer of the green compost on. That you know, I took my sweet corn plants out. They're wet in the compost heap, and a little layer on that. It's twiggy as anything, but hey, look, it's all right stuff, to be honest. Because I mean, these beds underneath, it's quite fine now. You know, so it can compact and get a bit waterlogged. It crumbles up again, like, it's not like the soil that's on here. The soil's absolutely horrendous. But anything in this soil, it's just going to die. You know, because it's just absolutely waterlogged. Mainly surface water, but it's just, the soil, it's just crap soil. So I took my peas out. I just put a layer there. You know, it's a fairly, you know, it's a good thick layer. You know, so it's like probably a good 3-inch there, and it'll rot down. I was going to take this net down, but it can stay up for now because, you know, I've done what I wanted to get done. I'm sort of back on top of it here. I just need to sort the garden out now at home, which isn't so bad. Well, that's about it really. You know, I might do a video when I come up and harvest some bits, see how it is. But like I say, I've filled that right up. That's just all weeds and basically crap, you know. And that's my own compost. You know, it's not. It's just been in here for years. You know, and it's. I mean, it's nice and crumbly, but like I say, it might. It's probably because it's had some like sods in it over the years as well, weeds and that, so it might be all right. But as I say, you know, it's been in the ground, it's grown here, it's gone in the compost, so it's all going to go back to ground somehow. So why not shove it on top of some beds? At least it's a blank canvas to deal with. So on that note, I'm going to get my stuff back over to the van, get home, have some tea. So I'm only one on here. So I'm not stupid enough to come down this time of year, but it needs doing. It's just a shame it's a wet site anyway. You know, there's a few people that have been down over it last sort of week, done a bit. You know, I kind of warned them, you know, get it done when they can, because when the rains come, that's it. You can't really do anything. So I'm glad I've got this done. It's not very often I manage to get it to this stage at this time of year. You know, it's probably a few years ago when it made it so much easier the year after. I can get on with things and I don't have to worry about this up here. Then I'm trudging around in blizzards and hailstorms just to come down and do stuff. Like I said, I need to put some new timber on my raised beds, but they've done another year this year, so I'll deal with that at a later date. It's not essential at the moment. The ground's sort of prepped, everything's covered, it's mulched up. So if you can get on your site, now's the time to get it ready for next year. Even if you just put some stuff on top or cover your beds up. You know, so I'm going to come down and I'll put some covers on these, probably in, you know, 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. But for now, we'll see how it goes. And obviously that compost's dodgy or anything. I should imagine where I've put it around some of the plants over yonder, we might start to succumb to something, I don't know. But it's a gamble you take when you got it, but it's free. Same as when you get horse manure, you take it home, you don't want it grazed on. You hot rot it, you know, but eventually it will sort of mellow out, you know, it'll weather through. That's why I've got covered up now. Let a bit of rain wash through it. You know, and all the fine stuff will wash off the twiggy stuff, so you'll end up with black twigs stuck on the top. And a lot of the good stuff's been taken out by the worms. That's the plan anyway. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.